What's up, everybody? Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel here, and today we are bringing you a trio of legacy-style instruments with a modern twist. We are going to show you the Fender Player II Modified Series. Let's check it out. The big dogs, right? Fender. Everybody knows them, a universally recognized name and brand, kind of the hallmark for all bass players everywhere, one could argue. I reached out to Fender, I want to say a year ago, maybe longer, a little bit after NAMM, and I wasn't expecting them to respond because it's Fender, right? They're gigantic. Who do they need to, represent or advertise their instruments like us common folk here on the YouTubes and the internets? But they did. They responded, and I was very happily surprised. And they reached out and said, we would love to work with you guys. We actually watch your channel. We love your channel, which was flattering because of all of you guys and girls out there and everyone in between giving us the views and giving us that attention. We appreciate you, every subscriber. But you guys got their attention, and so did we together. And they sent us 3 of these brand new basses, these modified Fender basses. Now, what's modified about them? I'll go over that in a little bit. But what I want to bring to your guys' attention is the first thing, right, that I noticed. And I think everybody at some point has owned a Fender. But the first thing that I noticed, it has everything that I liked about the Fenders and addressed a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily a fan of when it came to Fenders. And they've added some modern technology and touches to it that really, really made not just this bass, but the other 2 that I'm going to show you guys shine. I took this one out on a gig. I could not wait, so sorry in advance if the strings are dead. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It came beautifully set up right out of the box. They did a fantastic job. It held its intonation very well, even with the triple-digit temperatures we're seeing out here in Las Vegas now. It's very hot already. Man, I was super impressed, not just with the color and the setup, but just the performance and the feel. Like, we've talked about that a lot, but the feel is super important, right? Because if you don't like the pickups, you don't like the sound, you can change that, you can fix that. We have the technology. But if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel right, then you're kind of stuck, right? Like you have a moderate to substantial investment in an instrument that you probably are going to sell because you don't like it for significantly less money. Well, I'm here to tell you that I doubt if you made the investment on these instruments, and again, your mileage may vary, maybe you would, right? But I doubt that you would find anything as far as issues with these instruments. The body's made of alder wood, the finish is gloss polyester, and the shape is a precision bass shape. The electronics come with an auxiliary switching for an active-passive toggle. The bridge pickup is the Player II noiseless jazz bass, and the middle pickup is the Player II modified precision bass. The controls are master volume, pan pot, which is the pickup selector, treble boost and cut, mid-range boost and cut, bass boost and cut, an active passive tone, and an active passive mini toggle switch. The color is harvest green metallic. The bridge is a Fender high mass. It's got vintage style strap buttons, and it comes with the Fender USA 7250 nickel plated steel strings 45 to 105. And lastly, the tuning machines are tapered shaft open gear. Oh, one more thing, fret sizes are medium jumbo and the scale length is 34 inches. But let's get into the next one, the Player 2 modified jazz bass. Can I tell you, this was the first one I got of the 3 that they sent. And the first thing I noticed was, again, how well it felt. The neck feels tremendously comfortable and fast. It has that kind of, standard legacy 3-tone sunburst color to it that you associate with jazz basses, especially you Jaco fans, albeit this is a maple board and it is not fretless. But this color I always have akin to the Jaco bass of doom in my head. So sunburst is kind of a love-hate relationship with me. Just because it's so common. I don't hate it, especially on the older instruments, and I especially don't hate it with this new one, but I definitely like the harvest green metallic color personally better. But man, I'm not a maple board fan by any means, and for you Tonewood guys or not, I think it adds an overt brightness in my playing style and the attack from my fingers. Not like, Josh attack, because let's just admit he's not a human being. But like a normal person's finger attack, it comes off a little percussive and it gets a little overtly like peaky on the bright side for me. But this did not do that. This preamp that they're running in this Player 2 modified series, the Fender in-house, the stock one, the noiseless one with the pickups, I'm super impressed. I really am with this preamp. And the 18 volts that they run for all of these really gives it what it needed. But man, super beautiful bass. I'll go over the specs for this one too. But if you're a fan of jazz basses, especially 4 strings and with maple necks, I mean, look at this. Look at that. Skunk stripe, standard Fender layout and all of its wonderful, reliable, nostalgic glory with all the modern accoutrement. Man. And this one came out the box set up and ready to rock too. Like, kudos to the guys sending these out and the gals and everyone else that's sending these instruments out. I mean, the setup on this bass is just incredible. It was playable right out the box. And again, it's really hot, and I'm sure the humidity and the moisture difference where these came from versus here are substantial. So the fact that they were able to accommodate such an amazing setup with this instrument right to my door was super impressive to me. The specs for this bass are largely the same, with the exception, of course, of it having 2 Player 2 noiseless jazz bass pickups in the bridge and the middle position. It also has a thinner 1.5-inch nut and, of course, the jazz bass body shape. And then lastly, right, and I wanted to save this one for last because I have a little more to touch on with this bass and our history, right, with 5-string Fender style instruments, specifically one that we have had on here before that we openly stated we did not like. And that was the 5-string Squier that we had. It was a 5-string jazz bass, the same initial, you would think, right, layout, specs, etc. Except it was a Squier. Now, To those of you that own 5-string Squiers, I'm not dogging your choices. I'm saying that we didn't get out of that instrument what we wanted or needed. If you're able to get that out of your instrument, fantastic. You're better than all of us. You know, we not worthy. Wayne's World, okay? Copyright strike, boom. Sorry. Anyways, look, what I'm trying to say is that I specifically, especially for a 5-string, I need a couple of things to be checked on my regular gigging bass checklist, right? So if I have an instrument that I'm going to be using on a regular basis, I need it to do certain things, right? And almost always for a lot of the gigs that I have out in Vegas, whether it's kind of a here's some chord charts, follow the MD kind of deal, or if it's something that I've planned for, or if it's R&B, or if it's 90s rock or 90s R&B or anything like that, you need a low B. You need a 5-string. It's essential, I would say, and I would be hard-pressed to think you can get a lot of those songs done without it. I'm sure some of you are wizards and could. I'm dumb. I cannot. The 5-string is a necessity for me on gigs, and I need it to be able to do just that. And when I say I want the low B response to be responsive, right, for lack of a better term, what I mean by that is that I want it to sound like a low B. I don't want it to be something that's so flat or so kind of lackluster that it would be kind of the same as far as the response from me hitting that string as the E or even maybe the A. And the Squier for us was unfortunately that. The B was sterile, and I use that word very sparingly because it's one of those stupid buzzwords that I think get thrown around a little too much. But it didn't sound good. Now, what I will say, right, the first thing that we came into this with this instrument, and I specifically asked Fender to send us this 5-string J because one, the color, and I don't know if the camera catches it, it looks black, but it's actually a very dark, like purple, and it's called Dusk. It's like a purple metallic. We'll show you on the B-roll. It's beautiful, right? But anyways, it's night and day, right? It really is. And I think the biggest proponent to that is the new preamp that Fender's using and this 18-volt powering that. The Fender noiseless pickups have always been kind of middle of the road for me up until recently with these this newest addition to the instruments that they have, and still, middle of the road doesn't mean they're not good. I mean, like, that's a very consistent tone and sound and response where I would feel confident grabbing one of those instruments with those pickups that are stock and it would still do the job. Right? I have a Fender that's very dear to my heart. I've had it on here before. It's the Bandito bass. It's been around for 20 plus years. It's toured with me. It's held up to all of my ridiculous youth and abuse and everything else. Fender makes a great product, and this is really truthfully one of the most impressive series as far as the bass side comes that I think I've gotten to get my hands on in a long time. As far as the non-Fender custom shop stuff, right? That's completely different. This preamp that they're using for these series is massively impressive. The low B response on this jazz bass is very good. The consistency of the strings from B to G is right where you want it as far as response goes, right? The high end, it's got a nice glassiness to it that's almost piano-like, and you have a little bit more of that brightness because of the maple board. And that low B response, especially the low B and E, you can hear and feel it when you're playing. Like I played it on this Ampeg 810 in the corner here, and I was just like, I mean, it rattled my teeth. It sounded great. So if you're looking for a 5-string jazz, but you've been on the fence about that low B response with some of the jazz bass style pickups, 5-strings that you may have encountered or seen, give this one a shot. I want to say it's the prices. I'll get back to you before this video's over. But I want to say this one's around $1,200. It's nothing. It's nothing for an instrument that performs and feels at this quality and standard. It's worth every penny. And I'm positive you can find these on zZounds, and I think they do payment plans and stuff there too. So if you're looking for something that fits that 5-string need, this is definitely a solid choice. So that wraps it up. I want to thank everyone at Fender, right? One, for responding to a random YouTube channel's email from a year or so ago when we were not at the level of subscribers that we were. I know Fender's super busy and they truthfully do not need anyone's help. So the fact that they were willing to work with us at this level is super humbling, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Full transparency, right? We've done it on a lot of videos. If the bass was not performing to our standards, we would say it in a nice but professional way. Still get the point across if it's not great, right? Albeit, we really tried, right? We had multiple players, multiple types of playing, from fingers to pick to slap and everything in between, and these basses, they performed very well. I don't think we had any complaints from anyone that came in and played them. They held up to everybody's sweaty hands and still sounded fantastic. All right, again, we're in triple digits already. I don't know where you guys are and if the weather affects your strings or your instrument, but already in triple digits, and these things performed very well outside and in studio. So again, let us know what you thought about these instruments. We really enjoyed all three of them. We'd love for you to take an opportunity, if you are impressed by the sound of the instrument, or you want to check it out yourself. There'll be a link below that you'll be able to get these instruments through zZounds through. A small portion of that, for full transparency, comes towards our channel, so we can continue to bring you guys more videos and get more opportunities to bring you new instruments, pedals, amps, effects, more Fenders, and everything else in between, etc. Thank you again for watching. This is Chuck Bailey with the Bass Channel, and we will see you, to quote Chris, later.